Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs from all over the world, please make welcome the truth guy, Mr. Home-Based Business himself. The man of the hour, everyone's favorite, Kerry Miller.
And here we are again. Welcome to the Truth Guy podcast, where we are here to bring you the information you need to explode your home-based business. We are excited to be here tonight. We've got something very special for you. I was on a training last night with one of our partners, and it just blew my mind. I mean, I listened to it 3 times. It was so good. You know, the most important thing, and we talked about this just a little bit yesterday, we're going to get really in depth on this, is your finances, and especially your finances when you own your own business, and your finances when you have a home-based business, and exactly what you have to do, and is it worth it, and should you do it, and can you make money, and all those things wrapped up into one. And so last night I go on a mentor training every single Monday night at 8:30 with my good friend Carlos SalgueroEliminating. And what he talked about last night was compounding revenue. And it was just an absolute amazing training. I mean, it was just, nothing has captured my attention more than that training. And I listen to him all the time. And he's, number one, he's a great mentor. Number two, he's a great friend. Number 3, he's in the top 1% earners in the world for Amazon. So he knows what he's talking about. You know, I was always taught, when you surround yourself with people who know what they're doing and know what they're talking about. Because if you want to be successful, you follow successful people. And he's an amazing success story. So what we're going to do in this podcast is, I have brought that recording in. I talked to him this morning for quite a while, and said, hey, I really want to use that in our podcast today. And he said, absolutely, man. He said, share it as much as you want. So we're going to share it here in the recording, but not only are we going to share it here in the recording, we're going to also break it down so we can share it in today's podcast. You know, we're whatever we record here, if it's messed up or good or bad or whatever it is, you know, if we cough or sneeze or whatever happens, if the dog happens to bark, it's going to be in the recording, because we record this live and we want this to be as natural as we possibly can, just like my glasses sliding down my face. And I'm not a script guy. I don't go on a script. I don't write a script. I speak from my heart, and I like it to flow that way, because I'm speaking to you, just like we're having a conversation right here on this screen. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Carlos SalgueroEliminating. He is, once again, in the top 1% earners in Amazon in the world. He is a founding member of a company that I'm a partnership in, that you're going to learn about later. I had a lot of people ask me here, they said, Kerry, what kind of business are you in? What's making you money right now? And he is also just an awesome guy. So without further ado, let's get right into the message with Carlos.
I want to share with you guys something that is very powerful, okay? And I'm going to do it in love, although it's at some point it's gonna get a little intense. I'm gonna be very honest with you, because the topic of finances, the topic of wealth, is something that we've depending on where you grew up, you have a certain relationship with money. Okay, you either have a good relationship with money, or you have a relationship with money that has been instilled in you maybe from a young age, that has been a little bit off, in the sense that the love of money is the source of all evil, right? And many people I've talked to that, you know, were raised that way, and they want to get out of that. And tonight, I hope that with what I share with you, it will help you change your relationship with wealth, right? Because I see money as the vehicle, but not really the end all be all of achieving the goals that we want to achieve. Okay, so we're gonna have a wealth power session. Okay, I was debating on how to call this this training, and I ended up with that. So, and the whole goal of this session and this training is to eliminate the obstacles between you and your wealth. Okay. If you've ever thought about, oh my God, what's preventing me? What's keeping me from going all the way, right? From achieving every single financial goal that I wanted to achieve. And I'm assuming that everybody that is watching this, or your life watching this, you're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. You want to achieve wealth. So that is really something that I think is very, very important. And to start things off, I wanted to bring a quote that some of you might have heard. Nobody really knows if Albert Einstein really said this, but it is attributed to him. So I'm going to go with it. And if it's not, then somebody can correct me, or somebody can go do a whole bunch of research, but that's not the point, right? The point is that we want to understand the compound effect of wealth, right? And he said, or he's quoted to have said, that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it, right? It's ambivalent. It's either or. So either you understand it and you benefit from it, or you don't understand it and you end up kind of in the same little hamster wheel that goes around and around and around and around and goes nowhere. Do you know people like that? I think we all do, right? Do they want to be in that hamster wheel? I don't think they do. I really, truly don't think that anybody wants to be in that hamster wheel for the rest of their life. Now, what's keeping them there? And we're going to talk about that, right? That's really one of the things that we're going to discuss to understand how to get to the bottom of it. Because really, I think awareness, and I keep saying this, awareness gives you choice. When you know what's holding you back, you can obliterate it, you can bury it, you can destroy it, you can murder it, whatever you want to do, and then you can go pursue everything that you ever wanted, okay? So the compound wealth effect, most of the time is spoken about interest, about money, right? But what else is compounding over time? What are some of the things that are compounding? And basically, compounding is that the effect of compounding is that it goes one after another, and it not only multiplies, right? That's why we want to understand what compounding. So what compounds over time? Habits. Good habits compound over time. If you have a good habit of eating healthy, of sticking to a healthy meal plan, or anything that you are wanting to do in terms of health, fitness, and everything else, what's going to happen? You're going to enjoy long-term health, right? You're going to enjoy the benefits that you're after. And in the same way, bad habits compound over time. The negative effects of bad habits compound over time, right? Of not eating healthy, of maybe smoking, or any of the things that people do, because those habits compound. So habits compound, time compounds. How do you compound time? You start learning how to duplicate yourself in other people. You start, especially business owners. We understand that there's a multiplier effect of sharing knowledge with somebody else that can take that knowledge and apply it, and we duplicate our time in other people. See, I remember hearing this phrase early on in my business career: I would love to make money while I sleep. That's, to me, the perfect example of compounding time, because that meant that even when I was completely asleep, 8 hours a night, I would still be making money, creating wealth. I think every single person, if given the choice, if shown the way, would love to do that. And that's exactly why you're here tonight, right? So time can be compounded. Money can be compounded. You know this, right? Via interest, or via multiplying yourself through others in business, leveraging yourself, right? Traditional business does it in the form of employees. Business owners like ourselves do it in the form of other business owners. Helping other business owners compounds your money, while helping them compound theirs. You see how cool that is? It's a win-win relationship. Learning is compounded. Why? Because when you attend events like this, learning webinars like this, that effect compounds over time. The stuff that you learned from me 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, starts really adding upon each other, and you start learning. It's like, oh man, I remember when he said it 2-3 weeks ago, and you start connecting the dots. So learning compounds. Mentorship compounds as well. Why? Because the best way of learning is teaching. So when you're helping somebody else understand the steps of the business, or why they need to do it a certain way instead of trying many other different ways that we've already tried and failed at, right? So that they know how to rediscover the wheel, that mentorship compounds. And instead of them from starting from scratch with zero knowledge, see, I love to talk about this, because when I started my e-commerce business, guys, there was no coaches, no mentors, no gurus. Nobody knew it. It was brand new. It was completely the unknown frontier, right? The Wild West of nobody have gone there before. So how did we learn? By making mistakes, tons of mistakes, losing a ton of money. That was the effect of going into where nobody has gone before. So mentorship compounds, because then the new people that are coming behind don't need to do that anymore. They have a starting place that is so much further ahead than before we started, right? If you're starting tonight in your United business, or you're doing a reset in your United business, maybe you've been around for 2 years and you haven't done anything, right? If you're honest with yourself. But tonight you're making a reset and you're saying, man, I am tired of Carlos telling me that I need to go do something. I'm going to finally go do something with my business. And you do a reset in your business, guess what? Then that starting point is so much further ahead than where we started. And that's exactly what we want, so that you don't have to go through any of the pitfalls that we've had to fall in and climb out of, right? And then wealth compounds. Once you've achieved an amount of wealth, you can compound it and build it in a much faster way than you did when there was none before. So you can add many, many things to this, right? These are not exclusive by any means. I think love compounds over time. I think sincerity compounds over time. Forgiveness compounds over time. All those things that are good are compounded, right? In the same way, negative stuff compounds over time, right? Negative mindset compounds. Hate compounds if it's being iterated more and more and more. So we want to be on the good side of things. We want to be the ones that are responsible for compounding love, for compounding selfless service, for compounding mentorship, leadership, empowering others, right? I want my name attached to that compounding effect. I hope you do too. So this is a biggie, right? A lot of people are doing this every single day. They're sacrificing their future for the now. We are all instant gratification beings. And I'm sure some of you have heard about the marshmallow test with kids. If you haven't, it was an experiment that scientists did on a group of kids to basically tell them, look, there's a marshmallow in front of you. If you cannot eat it for a certain amount of time, I don't know if it was 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. If you do not eat it for 5 minutes, you get 2, right? So basically, they were being asked to not eat the marshmallow at hand, instant gratification, and wait a certain amount of time, and they would get 2, right? And guess what the majority of kids did? They ate the marshmallow, right? A few of them did not. And then later in life, they were kind of followed and studied. And later in life, it was found out that the ones that delayed the gratification were so much more successful financially than those that didn't. Okay. So what is sacrificing the future for the now? Is like, how can I show you? How can I really explain to you that building your wealth now is a worthy endeavor? that perhaps even if you have a full-time job that pays the bills and keeps you comfortable or anything else, that building for the future, for a much greater future, is a worthy endeavor right now, right? Because people think that there's unlimited time, and the reality is that you can compound time, but if you start younger, then you have a lot more time. Not to say that you can start this at any age, right? You can start now and be done in a year or two if you work hard enough. It's all up to you. So having a job versus business ownership mentality and kind of reprogram ourselves, right? Because in a job, what happens? You work a certain number of days, a certain number of hours, and you get paid for those hours. So it's instant gratification, right? People expect to get paid at the end of their time period. And what happens if the check doesn't come? Oh man, they throw a fit, right? Because they're wanting to get paid right away, right? Business ownership is a little bit different. You're gonna have to build a foundation first, right? You need to dig the hole of the foundation, right? Make sure it's clean and everything else. Then you need to set up your foundation, your steel, your concrete, and you need to let it set, right? And you're building. And man, you don't see anything for a little bit. You might not see anything for a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. For me, it took me a good 6 to 7 years to start seeing results in my own business when I was getting started, right? I wasn't even paying myself a salary when I was getting started. I was paying my bills. That's it, right? And every penny was going back to my business, back to my business, back to my business, back to my business. And I'll tell you, that habit of living below our means was ingrained so much in Myra and myself that even to this day, guys, we live way below our means, way below our means. We save about 80% of everything we make. And not because we don't want to live a great life. It's who we are now, right? And of course, we live a great life. We don't really want for nothing, but it's amazing how building these habits over time then it puts you in a position to take full advantage of anything that you can, right? The home next door is going up for sale, guys. I'll tell you the story at a later date, but I think I'm going to buy the home next door. Why? Because I can, right? And we'll probably pay cash for it because we don't want to have neighbors. so we'll buy it, and we might BRBO it or Airbnb it or anything else. But she said, I think the house next door is coming up for sale. I was like, yeah, let's get it, right? Because we live in a little cul-de-sac, and there'll be more space for the kids to go ride their bikes and stuff, right? And then we'll have a guest house for families to come and stay and enjoy, right? So getting paid at the end of the week versus end of the month, right? Awareness, again, of some of the things you're doing now that are preventing you from moving forward towards your dreams. I'm going to shed some light on that and understand it, that no matter where you start, there is a path for you to get to a big goal. Okay? That's very important. Never, never, ever sell yourself short of thinking that it's too late, that you can't do it, that the opportunity has passed. There's no such thing. You determine when the opportunity is there or not. So you're in control. What's the fastest route to $1 million? I think all of you guys would love to make $1 million bucks, right? That's why you're here. You're here for financial, wealth, training, and mentorship and coaching. And that's what I'm here to do. What's the fastest route to $1 million? And I'm going to tell you, this was a study that was made, and it was found that business owners, self-employed people, 28% of them are millionaires, right? Or that's the primary occupation, 28%. Senior corporate executives, 16%. Middle managers, executives, 11%. Engineers, 9%. Physicians, 8%. Marketing and sales, 7%. Attorney, 5%. Education, 3%. Interesting, right? And it's funny because In order to be an educator, it takes very little education compared to some of the other things that are here. Accountant, 2%. Homemaker, that was surprising to me. You can save your way to $1 million. Yeah, it just takes a long time, right? So here's what's interesting about these figures, guys, and is that 2 of these require no formal education. What are those? Business owner, self-employed, marketing and sales professional. That one's kind of debatable, right? Actually, homemaker doesn't require formal education. So those are the 2. And interestingly, the one that doesn't require formal education, whatever that means, because I think that this could be called formal education, right? High quality formal education. But that's the powerful thing, and that's what you are. You're a business owner. So your chances of making $1 million or more are pretty high because you're in the right category. Now, most of the others, being a senior corporate executive, man, that takes a long time. Not only education-wise, but climbing the corporate ladder, it's a long, arduous process. If you've been a corporate America employee, it takes a while, right? An engineer, same thing. It takes a long time to climb. It takes a long time to study, right? A physician, no question. A lot of debt to get there, right? Lawyers, a lot of debt to get there. And a long time in education. So it's not like all of a sudden you can decide, oh, I'm going to go be a doctor. Yeah, you could, I guess. But most people don't undertake that decision later in life. But you can become a business owner whenever you want. That's the beautiful thing about that. So I wanted to give you these numbers and figures because I wanted to tell you that if you're here right now and you're a business owner that owns a United business, you are in the high percentile of achieving great success, multi-million-dollar success. Now, a lot of people all day long love to quote the negative, right? They love to quote oh, you know what? Most business owners fail, yada, yada, yada. Most business owners, all that. They love to quote that. But for some reason, they forget to quote all the senior executives that never make it. All the attorneys that end up doing other stuff because they hated to be an attorney after studying so long and being in the courtroom fighting all day long, right? They fail to mention the arduous work of a physician, especially these days, guys, of how many hours it takes to make all that money and pay back that debt, right? I think the trade-off is pretty good considered everything, where you can start a business with little or no money and go build it as big as you want and just learn from people that have done it before you and copy, right? Because I cannot go and sit with an engineer for 2 hours a day and say, hey, man, teach me how to build a bridge. Probably not happening, right? And you probably will not want me building your bridge, right? Or me operating on your family if I try to go learn as an apprentice from a doctor, right? That's another good thing is that being a business owner does not require the precision that being a doctor or an engineer requires. It's very forgiving, guys, compared to all those other professions. You know how much are the malpractice insurance rates for doctors? They're crazy expensive. The malpractice attorney rates, engineers, crazy expensive. Why? Because those professions require a high level of expertise, precision, detail. Being a business owner is winging it 50% of the time, right? And people are going to laugh at this, but you're shaking your heads. Yeah, it's true, because you're going with the flow. You're learning how to do it every single day, right? You learn by doing. You don't learn by books. And that's the thing, that when you're in business and you start in the beginning, you really don't see much progress maybe in the beginning. And you've seen this chart, right? What's a penny doubled, right? You start with a penny, and these are days at the bottom. This is numbers on the left. And you start, man, and by the first week, nothing. You're almost at zero. You got zero. You got nothing, right? And then you start going 2 weeks in, nothing's happened, man. I quit. This thing is too hard, right? I've been showing it to 3 people. The 3 people told me no, or the 3 people told me that they've seen it before, and that was the thing that made you quit, right? And then you start on the 23rd day, you start seeing some money. And you're like, wow, it's starting to work. But it's too little, I'm out, right? And then from day 23 to day 27, this thing just explodes. And this is precisely my experience in business, guys. For the first few years, I saw nothing. With no vehicle, okay? With no formal vehicle. I was winging it. I was absolutely winging it, learning by my mistakes, learning, adapting, not quitting, getting beat down, getting back up, right? And then finally I started seeing, instead of being in the red every month, I started being in the black. And I started seeing a little money accumulate in the account. And I was like, yeah, it's working. And continuing that process and continuing and reinvesting, right? That's the beautiful thing here. Zero risk, guys. Zero absolute risk. From month 1, you're getting paid back a profit on your business. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to somehow eliminate a little bit of that instant gratification, but we cannot completely get out of the way. You still have to go and share this with others and endure the first few weeks, months, maybe even years, if it takes you years. Would it be worth it if you can make the $100,000+ a year that James Wood just shared before, or more, right? Because I truly think we're completely understating the potential here. But we don't want to scare you either, right? So what's profitability? You've heard that term before, right? And I split it a little bit. I said, okay, profit, you understand what's profit, right? Profit is what's left, right? It's what revenue less expenses, profit. It's what's left at the end of the month. And hopefully all of you guys are profitable. Although most people in America are not profitable. No money in the bank account at the end of the month. That means no profit at the end of the month, guys. It's gone out the door. No savings after 10 years. That's not being profitable. So profitability is your ability to create wealth, right? It's simple. It's a simple word explanation. But what is your current ability to create wealth? And this is a great phrase by Jim Rohn, and it says, effective communication is 20% what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know. What does that mean? And I truly think this. When you grab some information, like understanding the potential of your United business and where it can take you, your family, and those people that are in your team and that will be in your team, that's the 20%. And then how you feel about it, the passion that you have to when you're sharing it, because you're passionate about accomplishing your dreams and goals and helping others in the process, that 80% is actually what is moving people to be in business with you. That 80% is what is coming across the screen in these days, right? Because most of us are doing Zooms or we're doing any kind of digital communication, not many one-on-ones in person nowadays, but that passion is coming across the Zoom, that energy, and it's coming across as, man, this guy's passionate about this. There must be something in this. Let me pay more attention. Let me learn a little bit more. So check yourself and understand that if you're passionate about what you're doing and building your business, that is the most powerful force in building your business. It's the 80 percentile, just like Jim Rohn says, right? It's how you feel about your business, how you feel about your goals, your dreams, your desire, your purpose, right? It's the emotional state you create about the information. See, when I hear the leaders do Zooms and stuff like that, I guarantee you they're sharing this with purpose. They're sharing this with passion, right? They're sharing this with that urgency because they want to help people with everything they got. And that's what comes across. So your ability to produce profit, i.e. wealth, is that 80 percentile of how you feel about the information you know about the United business, right? Don't get caught in a situation where you're monotonous about the information you share, because the other person's going to go, man, that person's not really excited about this, so therefore I'm not either, right? Be of service. And this is also high in the index of your ability to create wealth. The ability of being of service to a fellow human is everything. It is everything when it comes to creating long-lasting financial wealth. See, there's people that make money here and there. They sell products, they sell services, they, make some profit here and there. But being of service day in, day out to people creates long-lasting wealth. If you master this, if you master the ability of being of service, you master the ability of creating wealth. Wealth is guaranteed in your future. So if there's one skill that you want to create, or one ability, is to be of service to others, right? And you might be thinking to yourself, so what does that mean? It's like, well, it means that you want to really go and help somebody else accomplish some of the things they want to do, right? And I'll repeat this, is like, if you don't master the ability of being of service and helping and checking in and letting people know that you are willing to help them, even when they don't ask, then you'll create some money, but you won't create wealth, right? So then what is getting in the way of being in service, right? Because now you're thinking about, okay, I've shown you your ability to make profit. I've tied it to being of service. I hope that's clear for you guys. And now what's getting in the way from this to creating wealth, which is what we're doing here, right? And that's where we're going next. These are the financial blockers, guys. We're going to obliterate them, destroy them, murder them, crush them. Whatever you want to do is what gets in the way of financial wealth. These are the financial blockers, okay? Number one, the fear of looking like a fool. It's standing in your way. The fear of you picking up the phone and calling that A prospect, that doctor, that professional, that lawyer, that person that you know, that business owner, and for that person to perhaps tell you no. The fear of making a mistake. That's standing in the way of you and your wealth. If you learn to overcome that, and I'm going to show you how to overcome that. If you learn to overcome that, then there's nothing stopping you. Acting with incomplete information. This is another big one. A lot of people feel like, man, I need to know everything. I need to know every single detail before I start anything, right? I need to have it figured out. And this is the institutional type of thinking that school systems have implemented in ourselves since we're early on, young in life. Now, if you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, obviously you need to know complete information before you operate on someone or you build a bridge. But if you're in business for yourself, you do not need complete information. You can make decision on a limited set of information. That's when it's funny when people see the 2-product, 3-step plan, and then they want to know all the details behind it when we've just shown them the path to 100 grand with 2 products, 3 steps, right? Guess what's getting in the way of them getting to the 100K? That they need to know every single little thing. And in reality, I feel like a lot of people that want to know every single thing, they're finding an excuse to not do it, right? They're finding an excuse that is preventing them to reach success in life. Inflexibility is another big one. The inability to change course, right? We're creatures of habit. And unfortunately, sometimes those habits or those routines that we're unwilling to modify keep us in the same place that we have been forever, right? So you have to be okay because business is ever changing, guys. You have to be okay to change course, to fail, to go back, to try, to be okay with a bad phone call, to be okay with a not so good Zoom, to be okay with somebody telling you, man, this is not good, right? James Wood the other day was telling us, man, I had a Zoom and it didn't go well, right? It didn't go well. And I smile when that happens because, hey, that happens to every single entrepreneur in the world. Many of us on a daily basis where a phone call doesn't go well, where a Zoom doesn't go well, right? And eventually you start being able to change course and reflect and say, man, what did I say? Or maybe I didn't qualify this prospect or, whatever. It's just one person, guys. There's billions of people in the world. Hundreds of thousands waiting for you to reach out to them, right? Also, another financial blocker, engaging in black and white thinking. There's a lot of folks out there that are very set in their ways that they think that you can only do things one way. You can only do things a certain way. And this will rob you of your future as well. Because if the world is one thing, it's ever changing. It's constantly moving. Technology, right? How many folks did you know when phones came out that were opposed to having a cell phone? I knew a few. Or when Facebook came out that were opposed to having a Facebook account. I was one of them. I'm sorry. I learned my lesson, right? So these black and white thinking robs us of the potential of new things that help us build for the future. And one of the biggest ones, which is the last one on this list, is the focus on lack, the scarcity mindset, right? I don't have the charisma that James Wood has, right? I don't have the beard that James Katina has, right? And the I don't haves are keeping you from achieving greatness because you're focusing on those instead of focusing on what you do have, right? The I don't know every detail, the I don'ts, all those things that you're focusing on that are supposedly lacking, when you just shift your perspective and you start focusing on what you do have, it's like, I do have a full head of hair as opposed to some of the other leaders that can go build this big, right? So focus on what you do have. Focus on what your abilities are. Never think on the don'ts. Never think on the won'ts. Because if anything, there's abundance everywhere you look if you choose to look that way. So these are the blockers, guys. And I bring you these because I want you to have awareness to this. And one of the things that happens when you encounter some of these blockers, because all of you, me included, encounter these along the way and sometimes on a daily basis, right? But now that you know who these foes are, you can get rid of them. You can expel them from your life, slowly but surely. It doesn't happen overnight, but you can be aware of them. You can say, okay, man, Carlos told me about this. Let me push through, right? And the biggest problem, and this is where the tough love comes in, is that most of you guys will too easy. You give up way too soon. You throw in the towel at the first sign of trouble. You're like, I'm out. People told me no. People think this is a pyramid. People think this is a scam. And you're like, you're out, right? You're not building and you're letting things go by. You're letting time go by and you're like, I jump. And I know a whole bunch of professional company jumpers, right? That do this. They go for 3-6 months, boom, jump. Do you think they're building any long-term wealth? No, you can't do that. Nowhere. There's nowhere in the world that you can build long-term wealth by just quitting at the first sign of trouble, right? So I know that you can do better. I believe in you. I know that the potential is within you to stick to it. I know the greatness that you can unleash if you just have some patience with yourself to see you work through some of the difficult times, some of the challenges, right? I've been getting some amazing videos from some of you guys. And was that easy for some of you? No, right? Were you scared? Was it the first time you did a video like this? No, but you did it regardless. You pushed through your fear. Some of you send me 2-3 revisions, one better than the other. And that's amazing because you saw yourself going from a place of the first time, man, that was scary, that was terrifying, that was horrible, to, oh, not so bad. It was a little bit better. Yeah, I'm still scared. To, maybe I'm enjoying this, right? And that's exactly how business is, guys, right? That's exactly how business is. You go through that journey of emotions and you don't quit. You keep going. And I know that you deserve more, and that is within your reach. So what do these financial blockers have in common, right? And I'm going a little past, guys. I hope that's okay. But I wanted to really give you some great info. And not only info, I want some of these concepts to start helping you change so that when you're showing this and teaching to others, you're able to understand what's getting in the way, right? So what do all these financial blockers have in common? All of them, with no exception, selfishness, right? They're turned towards us. I fear looking like a fool. I feel afraid of acting with incomplete information. I'm inflexible. I engage in black and white thinking. I focus on lack, right? When you're pointing towards yourself all the time, what happens is you unavoidably get in the way of your wealth, get in the way of your financial future when you do that. So how do we fix this, right? How do we start becoming selfless? And this is a progressive movement. As you gain awareness and then you learn, you start becoming selfless, you start serving more, you start giving more of yourself, and you start freeing yourself in such an amazing way where the journey becomes so damn enjoyable because now you are in love with helping other people, right? So the you of fear of failure becomes who you see and says fear of others experiencing unnecessary harm. So for example, if I am thinking, man, what happens if I don't show the United business to this person that I know might be interested and I never do it? Then I build some sort of a fear of this person never fulfilling their financial future, right? And it becomes a little bit of a responsibility of sorts of like, man, I need to. Even if that person says no, I need to, right? So you start seeing the other person instead of just you, of your own fear of failure. Fear of criticism, same thing, is the fear of mission, right? Because eventually it's like, look, would you love to hear at one point in your life, you've changed my life. You made a lasting impact, right? Those words, guys, there's no price. I'll tell you, I've had a few people telling me that, and there is no price tag on someone uttering those words to you. So the fear of criticism, think about the mission and the fear of leaving out eventually somebody saying, man, thank you so much for showing me the United opportunity because it has helped me achieve my dreams. It has helped me achieve my potential. It has helped me provide for my family and those future generations. I'm very serious about this. I am. so serious about this. That's why I talk big numbers. That's why I'm telling you, I'm taking this to $1 billion because I am afraid of not fulfilling that purpose, right? More than the criticism or the failure or the effort. If I fail along the way, who cares? I'm on, right? I'm going to die fighting. So fear of effort, same thing. Instead of you want to go see, and the fear of allowing others to suffer from doing things the hard way. So instead of people not doing this in an efficient way, just like James Wood showed us, for them to engage in all kinds of different behaviors that are extra added work that take them nowhere, right? So instead, we take some time to show them the steps. We take the time to share a step 3 session that is simple, but shows them how to show the business effectively and perhaps help them find the easy way, right? The efficient way, the optimum way. You can work hard all you want, but I'd rather work smart more than work hard. And if you do both, then you're guaranteed more wealth, right? Fear of responsibility. This is a big one, right? Calling ownership to your business because you're like, oh man, I don't know if I want the responsibility. You're looking at yourself. But the fear of allowing people to continue to feel alone and abandoned, right? And this is an interesting thing because as we started re-engaging with some people that kind of fell by the wayside in the last couple of years, we started realizing a little pattern. And is that a lot of those folks said, oh, I just didn't have support. I didn't feel the support. So therefore, I wilted away, right? So I have fear of anybody out there not feeling supported in their United business. And if you're one of those people, reach out because I will be sure to pair you up with a powerful leader that can help you build this business to as big as you want to build it. So I hope these things help you go to a more selfless state of mind, because when you are in a selfless state of mind, and I think that's the quality that defines the United family these days, that we are all supportive of each other to build this business. And just to finish this off, guys, these are some of the things I think about all this. When I finish these presentations, I always try to come up with at least a phrase that describes what I talked about. And I believe this with all my heart. The moment you focus, your focus turns to sincerely and selflessly helping the next person win, the next fellow man, fellow woman win, is the moment you start moving towards your wealth. That is when you start and you empower people along the way. That's all I got for tonight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I truly hope you got some golden nuggets from listening to this training from last night. And it was an absolute pleasure and honor to be able to bring that to you. You know, there's one thing we want to do in business, and that's make money. I don't care if you want to make $50,000 a year or $1 million a year. You have that opportunity with a home-based business. You can make whatever you want to make if you just do what? If you're committed, if you're dedicated, if you want to, and you make the decision to. And those are going to be the things that we're going to be getting into the rest of the week. The commitment, the dedication, the want to, and the decision to do that. I can't thank Carlos enough for allowing us to broadcast this and use this today. I appreciate him so much and all that he does in my life, for his friendship, and most importantly, for what he does for all of us on our trainings and mentorship Mondays. You know, there's a lot of people that pay a lot of money for mentorship programs like that. And, you know, we don't have to pay anything to learn. And because education, and Carlos feels this way, I feel this way, that's why I come to you every day. Education is the key to success when it comes to home-based business. You have to educate yourself. You have to, that has to be a part of your daily regimen. That has to be part of the things that you do. So thank you, Carlos. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you for being a part of the Truth Guy podcast. And we will see you right back here tomorrow night at what time? 7:08.